Maybe we can install the GUI packages, and then we can get the UI also after installing the UI libraries and all with respect to dependencies also. Okay, but now let it be here. What I'm going to do is now along with some of the intermediate and network related commands, along with those, we will be also learning about how to do a login into the remote mission using SSH. Okay, this is what we are going to do also. And what are the tools available to log into the 1 minute, guys? Can you just give me 1 minute? Okay, sorry. So what I'm going to do is we will be lowering, I mean, what we are going to do is we are going to do SSH to the remote machine and then do our work. Okay, for that, first I want to know something like, okay, what has happened? Just in, okay, I'm going to find out my IP address to log into the remote machine. When I type, it's saying by default net tools was not presented. I mean, ifconfig is one of the command which we will be using, you know, to show the, I mean, we will be, what we do is we will be knowing what is exactly the IP address of our system. Okay, this is what ifconfig would doing it. And even if it is clearly saying sudo apt, I mean, it is clearly saying command ifconfig is not found. So we have to install the nettools package in order to get ifconfig command is working. But there are some alternatives to know that, I mean, to know the IP address also. For example, IP is one of the command that alternative for the ifconfig. So we can provide something called IP space, you know, right? We can provide just the interface name or address. It is directly showing you here. Here, two network commands we have learned so far now. One is ifconfig. One is ifconfig. This is one of the command which will be there, which will be part of a nettools package. Okay, since that is not been presented by default, we have another alternative and command that is called IP. What does it do is IP is a command which will show the list of network interfaces that we do have connected with our virtual box. Currently, there are two network interfaces which I have connected to my virtual box. One is a loopback, which is been there by default, and the second one is ENP0S3 is another network interface. Okay, let's do one thing. We'll talk about the network interfaces in a minute. But before that, I want to log into the remote machine, right? Now I can't able to do a login to the remote machine because my VM IP address is, I hope you can able to see here the result. I'm going to print it again. See, my network interface IP address is 10.0.2.15, which is a private, which is a NAT IP address, meaning let me open my command prompt here of Windows, which is my base OS. Okay, now let me check. Let me check the IP address of my Windows machine. See, this is right. There is a similar command called ipconfig, which will show the list of available network interfaces details in the Windows machine. If it is a Windows ipconfig, if it is a Linux ifconfig. Currently, these many virtual, I mean, you are seeing here multiple network interfaces, right? Each one is a network interface here. Okay, so forget about it. Currently, my laptop is connected to my router using this adapter, which is nothing but a wireless adapter here. So that's why I'm looking at this one. Otherwise, if my laptop is connected to internet via, the LAN port, right? I would have seen some other place. For example, it could be something else, Ethernet here. Somewhere it would be here. Okay, so since now I connected to my internet via this Wi-Fi cord, this is the network interface which I'm going to look, and my IP address is 192.168.0.13. But in case of our VM, right, our VM 10 dot, the IP address is 10.0.2.15, which is a different network, which is like a NAT network. We'll talk about in a minute. Okay, here if you come here, settings. Meaning why we are talking about is if we want to do something like if we want to do a remote SSH, right? I mean, doing SSH, first we have to able to ping each other. Then only we should able to come. I mean, we should able to do SSH here. Let me tell you what does it mean. Okay, if we want to do, there are a couple of things. One is it should be pingable. Okay, and the second one is the remote mission which we want should have a open SSH server tool to be installed. These are the two primary conditions that we need to do if we want to work with the SSH. Okay, what does it mean is SSH means basically, in a simple terms, you are using a SSH package and then logging into the remote mission. In order to log into the remote mission, it has to satisfy two conditions. One is you should be able to, you should be able to pingable, meaning the remote server should be able to pingable. And the second one is the remote mission should be having a open SSH server to be installed. Okay, and once these two is satisfied, what we do is these conditions should be on the remote mission side. Okay, on your local side, you should have a SSH client. You should have a SSH client. In this case, it could be mobile extreme, or else mobile extreme is another web tool. There are a lot of things. SSH. There are multiple commands here, and even you can use. This is the SSH tool to log into the remote mission. These are the conditions that you have to check before logging into the remote mission. Guys, any questions so far? Or are you clear? Please, can you please confirm me in the chat if you are able to follow me? Otherwise, let me know. I can do a best way of teaching you. I mean, best way of explaining it. Because I've seen why I'm telling you here is I know like a couple of people has been started from zero in the Linux also. That's why we are starting here. I want a confirmation from all of you. Can you please confirm in a chat whether it has been understanding, any hiccups or any questions? Guys, I want information. Vijay, Tejasvi, Sharanya, Sainath, Naveen, right, Chandra. So I want a confirmation either through chat. Yeah, thanks Nanda for confirming me. Okay, clear. How about others? Okay, please chat and that, or you can give a response. It's a clear till now. Okay, fine. So now let me do one thing. Now let me continue here. So what I'm going to do is, these are the some of the tools. Okay, these are the some of the SSH client tools that we are going to use it, and logging into the remote mission. First of all, let me check whether is my okay, where is this? Is my remote mission is pingable? I don't think, because right, my VM, my remote mission is in the a NAT network, meaning to understand simply IP address should be reachable. If not, you have to check with some network settings. Why? Because why I'm going to change my network settings of Ubuntu server in order to make in the same network. See, once you click in your Ubuntu server here, and then settings, go to the network, and then the network, there is the adapter, right, which has been attached to my virtual box here. So I'm changing to, see how many things here: NAT, bridge adapter, internal network, host only adapter, NAT network, cloud network. This is actually a new one, meaning what does it mean is, if you have created any of servers in AWS or Azure or GCP, right? You want, you might have created some VPC networks in those environments. But if you want to attach the local VM that you have created here to the remote network, what you can do is you can make a one cloud network adapter and then connect to it. What is that meaning is, your local VM will be part of your remote VPC network. That is actually, this is a new network adapter which has come for the Oracle VirtualBox. Actually, I'm playing with that. So, right, you can directly connect your local server to remote VPC network. That is the meaning of here. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a bridge adapter. This is my network settings or network network adapter, which I'm going to attach to my VirtualBox. Now, once that is done, I need to restart my network adapter in order to get the changes of, right? Sudo service network okay, so it has been doing here. So what I'm going to do is restart. So this is the command. Either two things you can do: either you have to restart your, once you have, see, one thing is, once you changed any settings under the, not like any, say any, especially the network related one, right? Once you have changed any of the network settings of your VM, if you want to get those latest changes, you can restart that particular server, or you can reboot the VM directly here. There are two ways. Mostly people would be rebooting it, but instead of rebooting it, right, I would suggest to restart the network service just now what we have done it here. So why I have restarted now is to show you the command also here. There are 2 to 3 commands that we have learned here. Meanwhile, before the boot up here, let's see this. Okay. Once, so what I've done here is have checked, it's not pingable. That's what I will happen. So what I've done for the fixing this solution is I checked my network IP address, my VM IP address. So I found that is in a different network. In order to make pingable, I have changed the network settings. It doesn't mean that you have to do everything for every cloud VM also. No. If you have created a VM in a cloud environment like AWS or GCP, right, by default, it will be pingable. You don't need to do anything. This is required only if you have created in your local environment using a VirtualBox or VMware. Okay. So make sure make sure it has been pingable. Since it is not pingable, I have changed in network adapter settings and then done here. Okay, so it is back. Okay, I'm logging into the mission. Okay, so now let me do one thing. IP add address. See, my IP got changed to from 10.series to 192.168.0.1.4. Now let me check whether I'm able to pingable or not. 192. Where is this? 192.168.0.104, I guess. See, it has been pingable. So now I'm able to, my host mission can able to talk with the guest OS, and guest OS means my virtual box here. Okay, you have to keep the terminal. You have to sometimes when you are talking in an interview or some presentation or some discussions, right? You best as much as possible you have to use some technical words. For example, here we are calling base OS and guest OS. Base OS is the your laptop has, for example, in my laptop, my base OS is a Windows. Guest OS is Linux. Okay, that guest OS is hosted using one of the virtual box tool. Okay, now, what else? Okay, it has been pingable. Next one is I need to use one of the. Another thing is I need to check whether the remote machine has an open SSH server installed by default. Whether it is installed or not. Most of the servers will have SSH to be installed. Let's check that. If not, we have to install using one of the command that we will also learn here. For example, apt-get install open SSH server. This is the command to install open SSH server in Ubuntu. But let's check whether this has or not here. So what I'm going to soon we are going to, right? We will switch the screen. Service SSH status here. Okay, it's my bad. Let me. Okay, see, simply my SSH is already running. I'll show you the same command in the once we logged into the remote machine. Okay, now my two conditions has been satisfied. Okay, now what I need to do is in my local machine, I need to find a one client that could be a putty that almost everyone know, or we can use a mobile XM. Mobile XM is also a similar kind of a putty, but it does support other prototypes along with SSH like RDP, SFTP, a lot of things I will show you. Either if you have a SSH to be installed, okay, SSH client is being installed here. Okay, now since let me check whether my putty has been there or not. Yes, I do have a putty. Let's try to use most of the tools here. In the remote machine, first, this is a putty. A putty is one of the SSH client tool, which will enable you or which will help you to log into the remote machine here. Okay. So basically, right, this is your cloud and this is your laptop. Okay, for example, you are trying to log into the remote machine using one of the SSH tools here. Okay, so you can use or you can connect to the remote machine using a putty or mobile XM or anything. Okay, so using this tool here. These tools are definitely helpful you to log into the remote machine, and learning other tools like mobile XM using a command line tools will help you a lot other than using a putty also. Okay, I'll show you one by one here. Okay, once you have installed your putty, if you are not able to install the putty, right, you can just go and then download putty. Okay, download putty for Windows mostly. Okay, so you just come here and then download this client. You don't need to download this server. Okay, you just need a client, because using this client you are going to connect to the remote machine. You are not making or you are not installing the server in the Windows. Okay, you are just using a client to connect to the remote machine. Client is enough in your case. Okay, because the server is already having a server is already having a SSH server is installed. Now let me come back here where I am. Okay, so in this one, let me, okay, my server IP address is 192.168.0.104 here. Okay, this is my IP address. See, every time if I'm coming here and then typing this IP address and you know, what is kind of I'm somewhat a little bit lazy, and then I want to save it. I don't want to type every time where I open this putty. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just giving my username, at the same time learner at the rate, this is the my username of a VM. Okay, at the rate this IP address. Now I'm going to save my local. I'm just saving what I'm running, my local VM. I'm just pressing save. Automatically, this is got. Whenever I open the putty, and if I select this and then click on load, automatically get popped up here. That is the thing which I'm using now. Okay. So I just here accept. Now it is asking me the password. I'm giving my password here. Yeah, so I have logged in here. Okay. I hope you can able to see my screen now, right? Please, can someone please confirm?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, now this is what we have done. IP address is one command, and we have checked another command called SSH status. This is another command. We have just learned about it. Okay. Let's see the history. History is another command. What will happen you is, history is a command. It will show you a list of the commands that you have done so far. Okay, totally I have executed 49 commands. Here is the list of it. Okay, we have learned another command today. Okay, now let's come back here. So what we have done is that we have used a putty and then logged into a VM. That VM can be within your virtual box, or it could be a deploy, or it could be created in AWS or GCP, or all any of the cloud environment. Okay, one thing is you can use a putty only if your base OS is a Windows machine. Okay, of course there is a thing for Linux also, but we don't generally use, because by default Linux will have a SSH to be installed. Meaning, for example, my base OS is a Linux only. Okay, my base OS is a Linux, and I want to log into the remote machine. That remote machine is also Linux machine. At that time, what I can do is I can use SSH client directly like this: SSH space and username and IP address. Directly you can use it without installing any of the tool, because by default any of the Linux server will have a SSH client is installed by default. So you don't need to specifically install like a putty. Putty is a GUI tool basically. Even underneath it is also using a SSH client only. Okay, so this is a command that you would be using to log into the remote machine. User at the rate the IP address. Okay, if you are logging into the, if you are logging from Linux to Linux, since this is one thing. Okay, and here by default in Windows, since we install the putty, SSH client is also installed, right? I can even log into the remote machine using SSH tool from Windows itself. Meaning, instead of using a putty, I'm using SSH now from my Windows now. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do is, let's type. This is a command prompt, right? I'm just typing SSH here. Let's see whether it is working or not. See, it's directly working. Because we install the putty. When you install a putty, right, all the SSH open SSH client libraries also will be get installed here. So this is what this is: learner at the rate 192.168.0.4. This is the command that I have used to log into the remote machine. Is my IP is correct? Let me check. 1.04, right? 19.160. Connection time dot y. LER. Okay, now I'm going to troubleshoot to know why it has been. First, let me check whether I am able to pingable or not. Ping 19.168.0.4. See, it is not ping. Oh, sorry, man. It is a 104, not a 4. Okay, that is the problem. 104. Yes, it's able to pingable. Previously, I have given a 4, not a 104. That is the problem. Okay, I'm using yes, and now I'm giving a password. So I directly learn inside. I mean, directly logged into the remote machine directly using a command prompt using a SSH. So this way, you don't need to install putty also. But why the people are been using a putty is the older versions of Windows command prompt does not support the SSH by default. The latest version of the Windows is also capable of doing SSH commands here now. Now I'm exiting from the remote mission from my command prompt of a Windows. I come out of this and now I'm in a Windows mission. Okay, this is one thing. And any questions so far, guys? Any issues? Yes, we would see a specific error if the remote server is not installed with the OpenSSH server. Yes, we would see a specific error if the remote server is not installed with the OpenSSH server tool. Meaning, Vijay, we won't get a specific error. What we do get is you are able to pingable, okay, but you are not able to logging into the remote mission. There are a couple of things. One is the remote mission. I mean to say, let me explain here. This is, for example, this is a server which is there in the cloud. This remote have disabled the port 2022. I mean, port 22 isn't disabled, or else it does not allow any of the user to log in, meaning all remote connections has been disabled, even though 22 port has been, there are multiple reasons. 22 port is not, or 22 port is been disabled. This is one reason. Or not allow remote connections. Okay, it could be remote mission SSH is not running, or it may not be the running, or it may not be also installation. I mean, it does not have a SSH server to be running. It may not be running, or it's not installed also. It could be anything. If we want to know the specific error, right, we can't know the exact error until we do connect with that. So thing is, there are a couple of things to get the errors here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give -v, means when I'm logging in, if I faced any issues, right, I'll be enable the some versions for debug messages. If I give a -v, it will show you the list of what is happening. Okay, what is the process is happening when you type it. So it is clearly opening. It is using OpenSSH for Windows library, and the version is 3.4.3, and it is loading a couple of things, and it is checking the OpenSSH server on a port number 22. It is saying connection is established, meaning it's able to, your Windows machine find the remote mission has enabled the 2022 port, and it's able to pingable by this message. Now what is that happening is, these are the some of the internals things which is happening, especially it is creating a sum of the keys in order to make a secure connection for that. Okay, that's why some of the messages you are seeing like this, you are been finding a lot of debug messages, and then this way you can clearly understand what is happening with this remote connection if you faced any issue here. Okay, what I do is now I'll give a wrong IP address, and let's see here. See, here itself is disabled because it's not able to connect into the 105, because 105 VM does not exist. If it is connected, at least you would have come at least this for 5 messages at least. It has been stopped here if it is a 105 address. This way we can understand, okay, it's not able to connect to that. Then you come back and then check pingable is not there or not. Okay, this is one way of finding it out. And the second thing is, even though you have given a right password, still you are not able to connect means, what does it mean is, it is clearly saying in the SSH configurations, user was disabled. By default, when any of the user got created in the Linux machine, by default, it will allow the remote access also. I'll show you what does it mean here. There is a configuration etc sshd. Okay, here you would be, I'll use something for, see here where okay, see here we would be adding a list of users, something like, okay, for example, hello users. I'm not going to edit this configuration here, simply, okay, let me go to this, hello learner user, or hello something like Yogesh, or a list of users that you want to allow, and don't want allow, right? You won't be mentioning that. So this, someone would have configured only allow specific users, not everyone. This way we can understand whether any such kind of an issues. Mostly we won't get the exact error at the client side, that's for sure. I hope you got the answer what you are looking for.
Yes, yeah, thank
okay.
you.
Okay, any questions, guys, so far? Any others? Is it clear or not? Please let me know. I just want a confirmation from everyone. Is it clear or not? So we can go ahead for the next step. Okay, assuming everyone is fine. Thanks, Nanda, for giving a confirmation. And now what we are going to use is, we are going to, now what we have done, what we have seen is a remote login that we have seen a remote login to the, this is one thing we have learned today. And now remote copy the files. Remote login we have done using a specific tools, especially using a SSH putty and mobile extreme also. I'll show you. Okay. Let me show you why I need to do that. Download a mobile. Of course, I won't be doing it. Mobile extreme. Mobile extreme is also one of the SSH client tool which will support a lot of things. I'm going to download the basic version of it. Okay, not this one. I want the installer edition. If it is a portable edition, means it will come with the zip. You have to unzip and then do a lot of things. But if you just install the installer version, where is this? Okay, again, this is also cheap actually. I have to extract it and then do a lot of things. Okay, I think, let me pass this. Okay, so what is meant by here is, what is I'm looking at is, we'll discuss meanwhile here. There are okay, features here, right? What is happening? Why my net is slow? Maybe I don't know. Okay, let me mobile extern here, right? Okay, what I want to show is, it supports the multiple versions of a different protocols, like right? If you see here, no, not this is not the right one, I guess. Let me. I mean, you can use the, for example, different purposes. You can do SFTP, which is for copying the things. RDP you can do a telnet. You can do netstat, not only netstat, couple of other commands also you can do. I mean, this is a debug tool which will help you in all ways, which is related to the networking related, remote mission, for example, logging into the remote mission, copying the files, troubleshooting the network issues. All kind of tools will be presented here. Okay.
Okay, Narendra, a quick question. When you say, we can use all these commands to remote login into a server.
Which one? Can you repeat?
You said we can use SSH to log in into a remote server, right? SSH.
Right.
So using a SSH client, let's say I'm already in one server, can I actually log in into another server using the same client? Let's say I'm using PuTTY. Can I telnet into another server?
Telnet. Telnet is basically to understand whether any particular port is opened or not, right? You can't use the PuTTY to do a telnet, but what you can do is using a PuTTY, you log into the any Linux remote server. From that Linux server, you can use a command called telnet to check if any port or any connection establishment is happening or not. But you can't use a PuTTY directly to execute a tel.
Okay, got it. Right. Thank you.
Okay, but here, see this mobile extreme has these many tools here. This is one we have used, but with the mobile extreme, you can execute. I think your name. I mean, you just asked, right? You can use the telnet from the mobile extreme. See, mobile extreme supports these many prototypes. I mean, protocols. SSH, you can use telnet, you can do RSH, XDMC, RDP, VNC, FTP, SFTP. Okay, right? These many protocols that it will be supporting here. Okay, it is taking time. I don't know why it is, but let's move ahead and we will also see. But once you install, you would get a screen like this. Here is the place where you give your remote IP address and username. By default, one thing which I forgot to tell you is SSH server will be running by default on a 22 port. Here I mentioned here, right? First we have to check whether this has been installed or not. This will be run by a 22 port, run in a 22, which is a default one. Okay. In some of the organizations, right? Some of the organizations will change this default port to some other port for the security purpose. For example, by default, SSH will be run on the 22 port, right? Everyone know that. If someone open a network scanner like Nmap or some other Nessus tool, right? What they do is they'll tell your OpenSSH server is enabled, which is running. For the security reasons, they will change the default port from 22 some other port, especially the security purpose. Okay, but you have to by default question is by default port is 22 only. Okay, now what I'm talking here is we have used the SSH tools for logging into the remote machine. Now what we do is if we want to copy to the files into the remote machine, again we can use instead of SSH we use a SCP command. Another one is FTP tool. Another one is SFTP tools. These are some of the protocols actually. The tool name itself is also SCP protocol and the FTP is also protocol. Here we'll call it as a WinSCP. I mean, there are a couple of things here. SFTP is a protocol like exactly HTTP, HTTPS and all. The tools that do support of these protocols are WinSCP, FileZilla. It will support the protocols of FTP and SFTP. The difference between is a secured for SFTP and all the stuff, which is like exactly the difference between HTTP and HTTPS. We don't need to talk about this right away, but we can talk about when we are deep dive of Linux also. Yeah. But what I'm saying is there are some tools which you can use a graphic which have a graphical user interface to, for example, WinSCP, FileZilla to copy to the remote machine. And there is a command tool to copy to the remote machine like SCP. Okay. Now let's do the SCP first, and then we will also see the other things here. Okay. Okay, cool. And now what I'm going to do is, now we have done here, right? Now where I'm in home/learner here. For example, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm in here, right? I want to copy some file here. Let me create a some file here itself. Open Notepad. Hello, this is some file to copy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to where I'm pictures. Okay, the same. Okay, what I do is I'll go to the downloads here and sample.txt. This is the file which I want to transfer to the remote machine, which is under the downloads here. Okay, now let me navigate to the downloads folder here. I can use the DAR to list off all the contents in the Windows directory. Here is the sample.txt. What I can do is SCP, I'm using SCP, and then the file that I want to transfer is the sample.txt to where? To 19.168.0.104. Okay, what is the username for that? Username is learner@desktop. Okay, to which path? Under the home/learner. This is the command that you do execute to copy a remote machine, to copy a file into the remote machine. See, it is asking me the password, and then it will show you the 100% it is transferred. Now let me log into the remote machine and check whether do I have it or not. Here, one thing you need to observe is it just copied and come back. Okay, it did not logged in like SSH is doing. I'm just logging in SSH learner 192.168.0.104, and then okay, I think learner. Okay, now let me check what is happening. I think yes, it is copied here. Let me check the. I want to latest thing RTH here. What does it mean is this is the latest one. See, just now it has been copied. Let me check 247 here. 1 minute back it was copied. So this way, this is the latest one. Okay. So this is a way of using a HCP command to copy to the remote machine. Any questions, guys? Now we will learn about other tool like FileZilla. We will try to use it. Even we can use this guy also. Mobile exam. Let me try to install and see if I possible, because it has supports the FTP also, SFTP also here. Okay, I'm installing here. Either I can download the FileZilla or WinSCP. These are the graphical, the tools which have a UI, so we can easily understand about it. Okay, now this is one way of logging. Again, do you see this? It has been copied the information from Putty again here. Okay, this is one thing. And the tools I want to use is, see, these many tools it is supporting here. FTP here, FTP. Okay, I want to log into the 192.168.0.104. My username is learner. Port number is this. Actually, it should be again 22. Password is learner here. Okay, it should show the pop-up. It should show a new window. Let's see why it is hanged. Let me check whether do I have a, yeah, I do have a FileZilla also. Okay, it is saying learner. I don't know why it was not showing here, but still I can use the FileZilla here. Okay, this is another tool which I'm using called FileZilla to transfer the missions 192.168.0.104, and the username is, see, it is open now. Yes. Okay, I don't want this again. It's basically these are some of the settings you have to do in your mobile exam if you install. but fine, it makes it won't ask you every time if you do it. Okay, if you do that. Now let's come back to our this one, FileZilla. Where is FileZilla? Yeah, my username is learner, password is also the same, and the port 22 is this one. Now I'm connecting to the quick save password. See, now in the right side, I get the list of all the files in the remote machine also. So I can easily drag and drop some of the, files. For example, any disk I can copy and paste it here. So it is copied here. Transfer the file successfully. So I mean, this is a helpful if you are not liking the CUI part. But trust me, guys, you have to get habituation of using SCP, SSH commands directly instead of using or depending on some of the GUI tools. Okay, this is my recommendation. Any questions, guys? Can you please confirm me now? I want everyone to be messaged whether it is clear or not. If you are not able to talk, you can easily message here so we can go proceed ahead. Once you confirmed, what we are going to learn is some of the commands related to the Linux. Okay. Okay. Any things related ones? Okay, no doubts. Clear. So let's talk about some of the commands that we want to talk it here. Okay. So some of the commands that we required is the first one is in the Linux is apt package manager. Okay. What does it mean is, for example, if you want to install any of the tool or package in your respective Linux distribution version, it has its own package manager tool. For example, in Linux, apt-get or apt is a package manager tool that you would be using to install a specific tool. Okay, for example, I want to install apt install, for example, NetTools. Okay, right? It is asking me to run this as a root, because if you want to install any of the software, you should have at least a root privileges, or you should be part of a root group. Okay, we will learn when we are learning about the users concepts in the Linux also here. Okay, this is one thing. So I just used sudo to the apt-net tools. What does it doing is it is connecting to a respective Jammy version of Ubuntu. I mean, the 22.04 version version name is Jammy. Yeah. Okay. So it is connected to that particular repository package and downloaded this particular packages and then extracting here. Okay. This is the extracting and then setting up all or installing all the tools, and then finally you could able to execute the commands like this, which you have based on the tool that you have installed here. What is that happen is the apt package here, earlier it is used to be apt-get. Now latest versions of Ubuntu, we can just use a apt instead of apt-get here. The apt is the package managers that you would be doing here. Okay, I mean that you would be utilizing to install any of the software. Okay, so simply there are a lot of things that you can do here with the apt package managers. One is to update it. Okay, what does it mean update here is, okay, for example, it will fetch you the latest if there are any packages available for a particular tool. For example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the update here. We have to get update. Okay, it is saying you don't have permission, dude. Please go and use as a sudo. See, now what is it happening is it is going and checking to this particular repository and then checking, okay, each and every package, are there any updates here? What is the end result? See, everything I have checked, everything is up to date. Now let's go and check this repository in the, yeah. See, this is the where this is a repository. When you do install any of the software from a Linux machine, or when you do update command, this is the place where it is coming and checking each and every package, whether is there any updates or not. Where it is coming here, just a minute. The path is Ubuntu Yummy. Yes, somewhere under the disk. Let me come here. Jammy is the one that we are getting. When you do update, it is coming to this folder, and then finding if there are any issues or if there are any specific updates, versions are there, and then downloading those packages. Those packages also, you know, right? tar.zz, or it could be DEB file. Okay. So this basically what I want to tell you is for Ubuntu version, the package manager is apt. For RHEL version, the package manager is yum. For Debian based OSs, again the package manager is DEB. Apt only. Okay, the executable file. Let me put it in a diagrammatic way. Maybe you can relate it. Okay. This is a Linux, and this is a Windows, and this is a Kali. This is a Ubuntu. Let me put it this way, and something like this is a Ubuntu. For Ubuntu, it is the packet manager is .deb. I mean, sorry, the apt, and executable file is a deb file. Okay, and for Windows, take an example of Windows. The package manager is related to the systems, and the executable file is .exe, meaning if you want to install any of the software, what do you do is you will go to the net and download a .exe file, and you just click on I mean next, and that's what is happening, right? Because that is a .NET related application which will work in a Windows based. Okay, here if it is a RHEL, the package manager is yum, and the executable file is .rpm. This is how it is in the Linux RHEL version of a Linux. If you take an example of Kali, okay, again that is again the package manager is apt, the executable file is a deb file here. Okay, but if you take any the Fedora or Amazon Linux, for example, if you take Amazon Linux, again it is the same as Ubuntu or Kali Linux, because no Kali Amazon Linux is a yum based one, because it is a Amazon Linux is another distribution version is there. The package manager is yum, and the files are the RPM also here. Okay, these are the package managers for the different Linux distributions. Okay, you have to find what is exact distribution commands. This way you can execute a lot of commands and you can do it. Okay, let's see what we can do with this package managers here. This is one thing. You can do a update here. Okay, earlier we did the apt get. Now since it is supporting both the things, now let's use this one, apt package manager. You can list out all the list of packages that you have installed. Okay, I mean related to something here. Okay, what does it mean is apt install. Now I want to know what are the list of packages are available related to the Java. See, these are the some of the tools which I do have. Or else I want to something related to open. There are 362 here. I don't want to list off all the things, but I want to relate it to the open SSH. These are the list of packages available starting with the open SSH. Now I want to find out what are the latest Java versions related to the OpenJDK. See, OpenJDK 11 is there. OpenJDK, doc, demo, JRE, JDK, everything is there. OpenJDK 17th version, 18th version, and everything was been presented here. Okay, so like this, if I want to install any specific package, if you just type 2 to 3 letters, right, it will just show you the remaining packages which is starting with the first 2 letters. So this is one one way of help that we will be getting from the APT package manager. Okay, let me find out other things here. Okay, next one is APT's list. I mean, basically APT list Java related. So it will just show you the list of all the things. Yeah, just 1 minute, guys. I'm getting a phone. Just 1 minute. Yeah, okay, guys, back. Now, what I want to is I want to set related to one package related to the Java. What is it in apt set?
I think the search spelling is wrong.
Okay, guys, sorry. Yeah, right. You said correct. Set spelling is wrong. See, these are all the related libraries related to the Java. Now, I want something related to the SSH. D especially. Are there any packages related to? Yes, there are something related to the OpenSSH. Like this, you can check whether any specific package tool has been installed in your system or not. Okay. Okay, repeat get help. If, I mean, you may get some tasks like, you need to install Apache server in your in your Linux machine, and before doing anything, right, you can check like apt search Apache. You can search like that, or else when you are installing with the multiple versions of the Python, for example, Python 2.7, Python 3, pip, right, you would definitely need to handle couple of multiple versions of the Python. So there are some common libraries between 2.7 and Python 3. So when, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like when you are maintaining, you would get some kind of library issues, library management issues. That time only specific tool, I mean, specific package is looking for a specific library. So to check a specific library is already installed or not, you can use this command to search for that. I mean, this is one scenario you could use this instead of remembering everything. Okay. And the next one is, let's talk about the show here. I mean, what is the, we have talked about the install also. Now apt show related to, for example, MySQL. No, I don't want everything. MySQL, yes. Please show me the list of, yeah, these are all the MySQL related things that you would have in your system. Okay. It won't show you the things in the remote mission. I mean, sorry, which was not installed. These are all already been installed in my mission. Okay. Why? Because this is a server edition. MySQL D is installed by default since it is a server. Okay, this way, I mean, we will talk about a lot of things also here. Any questions, guys, so far? Is it clear? I want to, now this is, I mean, we can stop it right away today. Tomorrow we can start with other tools, but before leaving here, I want to confirmation. Is it clear for everyone? There are a lot of other commands we have to learn about the Linux, especially netstat, traceroute, nslookup, grep for filtering it out, find, depackage manager, a lot of things. I want to confirm